Shalom, shalom, call halal Yahweh Shemel, Shabbat Hashem, Kakwadash, double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops, a great millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out preaching the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the elder Yahshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily Update. Shalom and salutations to you all. All right, so bear with me because I want to take a little shot at your boy Officer Tatum, right? Where's he at? This clown, that's Flacco, but this clown Tatum, this guy here, Dimitri Lascari, or however you say it, Lascaris, I believe he's a Jake, but this is what Race Batum Tatum, he's trying to achieve white boy vernacular and diction. And it irks me, right? Because we can only sound so much like Esau, no matter how good we get, right? There are little things, flaws, right? And Esau's waiting. He's waiting for you to pronounce half a word wrong, right? So that he can judge you on how well you do or do not speak the English language, which is the most ridiculous thing in the fucking world. But this is how Esau tries to maintain order. Things like how well you speak it. So therefore, when Brandon Tatum tries to show how intellectual he is, he'll try to use words. And this is what he's trying to achieve. All right. So where I got this set up. Dimitri here is going to give us the update. But before we get to his perfect diction, what your boy is trying to achieve, right? Look at this bootleg real quick. All right, so this is Flacco. He's going to set it up between Nancy Grace and this Race Batum Tatum coon, right? Just what I want you to observe, right? Especially in the first Nancy Grace, he was really pouring it on, trying to be at one with Nancy. Now he's hostile, but he's still trying to use big words and he's trying to compete at her level. Now listen to what Flacco says. He's going to confirm what I'm saying. This is about trying to seem and act as though you're intellectual, and we can all see that you're not. All right? But how well you speak, right? And then this goes into jurisprudence. This goes into the bar. This guy Dimitri is actually a lawyer in Canada, right? And what is Nancy Grace, right? And what is this nigga doing? So you got to have a certain vernacular, right, to be in the arena that this nigga thrust himself into. Speaking on behalf of who, right? Now, let me qualify what I'm saying real quick. This goes into civil and nation against nation, Egyptian against Egyptian. Those joined unto the, let me see, Chase through, yeah? What is that? So I can bear with me for a moment. All right, this is the book of Isaiah 13:14. I just have to point this out real quick. And it shall be as a chase roe and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people and every one into his own land. 15. And this is Brandon Tatum. And everyone that is found shall be thrust through, that's Esau. And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. And shall do what? Sounds like war to me. Right? What kind of war is that? This is part of World War III if you don't understand. Anyway, where'd Flocko? I want to hear what Tatum. Let's listen to how Tatum speaks.
Today was a very bad day for Officer Tatum, right? He went on Nancy Grace's show, I guess, after the first time he got him.
Because let me tell you what's going on. Egypt, right, is against Egypt. There's a civil war. The Egyptians against the Egyptians, pursuant to Isaiah the 19th chapter, okay, which is part of World War III. Okay, we lost the first round to Iran, so now they have to stir up a diversion. The diversion is right here on our own home soil. Go Flock.
Now, the reason why he went back on her show for a second, today was a very bad day for Officer Tatum, right? He went on Nancy Grace's show, I guess, after the first time he got humiliated. Now, the reason why he went back on her show for a second time is because of how much he got humiliated the first time. He got embarrassed, caught in multiple contradictions, lies, debunked. She made him look like a fool. Even people who are fans of Tatum was ridiculing him on social media. So I guess he came back for a second time to try to get back at her, right? To try to redeem himself. And the first time he was kind of like subservient. He was kind of like shy, right? You know, he felt scared. He was timid.
Now listen to what he says right here.
This time around, he came brash, condescending, arrogant.
Yes.
But the problem here is, you cannot act your way into intelligence, and Nancy Grace is actually intelligent.
All right. So he's going to try to compete at a level where he's basically looking like a clown. Okay? And Jake has to watch out. All right? Because Esau's well trained. Right? And they use this as a weapon, this language barrier. Right? And this clown Tatum has no, you can't pugil. You can't be a pugilist at this level.
Nancy Grace is a shark. Nancy Grace prosecuted cases for a living. Nancy Grace is a scholar, right? Tatum is not in the same class as Nancy Grace. So, no matter false.
And what I mean when I say this is it's forced. He doesn't normally talk like that. All right? This is how I normally talk. I know it sounds like shit and like a jerk, but this is how I normally talk. Brandon there is putting on.
Confidence could have saved him. And he got humiliated again. I'm not lying.
We're going to jump to it. 555, call hello. Now listen to the diction.
Very odd. I have no reason to disbelieve.
Salakia, devil. Let's let Nancy set it up.
An object? So, you don't have it? Fine. Get it. Next.
Look at this clown.
So, how can you say that I'm quoting, how can you say there's no text message or photo, as a text message or photo is missing? Our boys had no reason to do anything with Nolan's phone other than give it back. So seeing anything about missing texts or Snapchats completely false.
How do you know that?
According to the mom, Officer Tatum, she says that there was nothing sent out while Nolan was at Horn Island, which she found very odd. I have no reason to disbelieve her. So how can you say there were missing or there weren't missing? I don't think you can say it either way. Why don't they just get a search warrant and
Listen
go
to the
get
battle.
the phone? You know what?
There's a spiritual battle.
That. Officer Tatum, where is Nolan's phone? Do authorities have it?
Well, from my understanding, authorities do not have it, and the family have not been cooperating with authorities to give the phone over.
The family have not been. It would be has not been. And you can get in there and you can nitpick. And he's trying to talk to her at her level. And here's the point that I'm making. This nigga is dripping with evil. He's working with Esau, and he's dripping with lies, evil, right? Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them, this nigga is joined at the hip. Now listen to him do a terrible job at speaking on behalf of his enemy.
According to the testimony or written statement from the lawyer that represents the family, the Nolan Wells family, he had made mention that he's prepared to cooperate, but they have not cooperated yet, which is very interesting to me. You want to find out what happened to your son. You would think you would be doing everything you can to cooperate. I can't judge her. I don't know what's in their mind, but it just...
But you are judging. But you are. You're literally judging. No. You're judging her. That's what you're doing. Don't throw rocks and hide your hand. That's what you're doing. And there's nonsense of, they're not cooperating. No. Preparing to cooperate does not mean you're not cooperating. That's not what that means. Cooperation means a demand and an order was given and you did not follow it. If a demand and an order was never given, then it's not being uncooperative. The cooperation just ain't started yet.
His phone, therefore the world can see if there is things that have been deleted. I think Tyler Cox is very clear about what he's saying, that the boys had nothing to do with it. So if there's anything missing from the phone, it had nothing to do with them. Now, I'll add this. When you look at what Christine...
Wait. Hold on. I don't think y'all spot the he tried to skip over that part so fast. Watch this.
Clear about what he's saying, that the boys had nothing to do with it. So if there's anything missing from the phone, it had nothing to do with them. Now, I'll add this.
You see how he just put that caveat in there? Hold on, bruh. Tyler Cox says there is nothing missing from the phone. That's what he says.
So you can see the buffoonery. This guy can't even speak. Now, let's watch this Jake. All right, how do I know he's a Jake? Reason to resist. Resist what? Listen to how this guy delivers. And this is a Canadian. But this is what Brandon is trying to achieve, and he's doing a very, very, very bad job of acting, because it's just not you, Brandon. It's just not who you are. And you'll never get to this level. It's just not who you are, right? Anyway, listen to Dimitri here. Listen to how, and listen to the language, the verbiage, if you will. He is an expert at stringing together words and knowing exactly what they, and he's not trying. This is just the way he talks. All right? Now, what is he doing? He's fighting a war. He's fighting a spiritual war. Listen. Take it away, Dimitri. Okay, you go.
That, let's turn to the main topic of our report today, Ukraine's involvement in the U.S. and Israeli dirty wars on the resistance in West Asia.
Okay, now let's we'll go back and observe that again. What is he talking about? He's going to give us the World War III daily update. Ukraine's deepening involvement in Washington's dirty wars in where? The Middle East. He calls the Middle East what? What it's supposed to be called. There's that. Reason to resist. There's that. In the spirit, what do the men of the Lord call it? When we don't want to call it what the devil calls it. See? What does it mean? What do we call it when we don't want to call it what the devil calls it? We call it what it is. Now, what he's going to deliver here, right, is how Ukraine has now come together with the small hats. Why? Let's go back here real quick, and then I'll let it play. I'm done with Brandon Tatum. But this is what happened the other day. Zelensky. Is it Zelensky? Zelensky, Trump, who? This guy, Bibi. Oh, meeting after let's take a quick look at this. 2 weeks ago, yeah? Unpacking Trump's separate meetings with Zelensky Netanyahu before Lindsey Graham's funeral. What's that? What's this, real quick? 2 weeks ago.
This device
Slovakia.
eliminates.
That was for Lindsey Graham. Here we go.
Before delivering Graham's eulogy, President Trump met separately with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and
That's all we need. Now we'll go here. Go ahead, Dimitri. Where did we start? That's good, huh?
Now, back in 2022, when Russia's special military operation, as the Russian government calls it, began in Ukraine, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was instantly catapulted to rock star status across the West. Western leaders and corporate media outlets proclaimed him to be the Churchill of our time. And this is just one of many articles I could find in the corporate media which likened Zelensky to Churchill. This one, published by the ultra neocon, because that's what it is, folks, The Guardian, in December of 2022. And week after week, not only was he being lauded as a hero of historic proportions for having accomplished nothing, frankly, by governments around the West and the...
You hear that? How he's stringing them words in? That's what Brandon wants to be able to do. And he's trying to do it and thinks that he sounds like that. He thinks that, see, because they got him out speaking on their behalf right now. And when I say they, those people at the top of the government, right? The judges and stuff like that. And then there's senators going all the way up. And then Trump is changing the laws and stopping the courts from ruling on civil rights issues. Anyway.
Media, but in addition, he was being feted in one national parliament, legislature, Congress of the United States, week after week after week, where routinely he was given rapturous standing ovations. For example, this one here in March of 2022 conferred upon him by the British Parliament, and I'm quite sure that that's only one of many standing ovations that these neocons have conferred upon Volodymyr Zelensky over the intervening years. Now, Zelensky's most ardent fans were not only the neocons. To my chagrin, many Westerners who regard themselves as left-leaning and anti-war also fell in love with Zelensky.
Also fell in love with an actor, a comedian, okay? And Donald Trump is the all-time greatest reality show star, reality show personality on record. Check the record, and you'll see that it's true. So you got a couple of actors, right? And then you got Netanyahu about to puppeteer these actors into what? What do we see? Can you see what's going on? It's World War III, but this is, you understand how it's, they got these actors out here.
Now, from the outset, I was highly skeptical of the deification of Volodymyr Zelensky, and I made no bones about it in my public commentary. And I'll show you one example of that. In July 2022, I authored a long expose on Zelensky, published it on.
What he's doing, he's setting up his personal fight. He's in this thing up to his gills, right? He's about to bring on somebody from West Asia. They know about him. They're fighting him, sending him cease, desist, all kind of shit. He's a lawyer, and they're going back.
My website, dmitrylascaris.org.
Lascaris.
And as you can see here, it was titled "Ukraine Servant of the People" is a Western fiction. Servant of the People, of course, is a reference to the role that he played. This was a television series in Ukraine, a comedic television series in which he played the role of an anti-corruption hero who was a simple teacher and somehow rose to the level of the presidency. Yes, folks, that was actually the role that Zelensky played before he went from being a comedian to being the president of Ukraine without ever having held elected office, ever. And really having no experience whatsoever in government, macroeconomic matters, or military matters for that matter. So the essential thesis of my article and my overall commentary all the way back in 2022 about Zelensky is that, first of all, there was ample evidence that he was hopelessly corrupt. Secondly, he was grotesquely unqualified for the job. And thirdly, he was an autocrat. As I pointed out in this article, the government under Zelensky had shut down the largest opposition party, banned the largest opposition party in the Ukrainian parliament, closed down a number of other political parties, banned them, and also shut down television stations and newspapers that were sympathetic to the political opposition of Zelensky. And now here we are, some 2 years later, more than 4 years later, since the deification of Zelensky began, and he's still in office, but not by the mandate of the Ukrainian people. His mandate expired in May 2024, more than 2 years ago, and he rules today by martial law. And he has absolutely no interest whatsoever in holding an election anytime soon.
Because they have him in place. The powers that be have him in place. For what? For this moment right here.
Not only that, but he has been dogged by serious allegations of credibility, I should say of corruption.
Like Donald Trump. They're in place.
And a number of his close associates have in fact been charged with corruption, and some of them,
like Donald Trump, they're in place,
have been jailed. Now, my critique of Zelensky at the time encountered a significant degree of pushback from people who identify as left-wing and anti-war here in Canada, also in Europe. And some of these people had been, prior to that time, supportive of my advocacy and my work as a journalist, as a political candidate, but they became mighty hostile when I began to vigorously criticize Volodymyr Zelensky. In response to these critiques, I sometimes pointed out that to these people, all of whom I understood to be supporters of the Palestinian cause, that Zelensky repeatedly told the world that he wanted Ukraine to become a big Israel. And in fact...
Stop. That he wants Ukraine to be the home of the Khazarian Empire. In Kiev, ancient Kiev was the capital of the Khazarian Empire. Oh, there's no such thing as a Khazarian Empire. But we are the Tartarians. Right? Anyway, so, what is this? This is this. Get it? What is this? Zelensky wants Ukraine to be big Israel, meaning Israel is accepting weapons and money from the big Satan and Now, so is Ukraine. Why? Because they're all in this together, right? Can you see it? What does it spell out? It spells out World War III. Let's hear more, Dimitri.
In April 2022, a neocon at the ultimate of neocon, think tanks, the Atlantic Council, wrote an article in which he offered his advice to Zelensky about how he could convert Ukraine into a big Israel. Now, if Zelensky was such a hero of democracy and human rights, why would he proclaim his objective to be to turn Ukraine into a larger version of an apartheid genocidal state? And he has continued to unfailingly support Israel throughout the almost 3 years of genocide that we have witnessed. And one other point I want to make in this regard.
Whew. Let's hear that again. Let him set it up.
At the ultimate of neocon, think tanks, the Atlantic Council, wrote an article in which he offered his advice to Zelensky about how he could convert Ukraine into a big Israel. Now, if Zelensky was such a hero of democracy and human rights, why would he proclaim his objective to be to turn Ukraine into a larger version of an apartheid genocidal state? And he has continued to unfailingly support Israel throughout the almost 3 years of genocide that we have witnessed. And one other point I want to make in this regard, since I'm on the subject of Israel, is that last week Ukrainian media reported that Ukraine's anti-corruption authorities are still waiting for the Israeli regime to respond to a Ukrainian request that this character be extradited from Israel to Ukraine. Who is this character? This character was Zelensky's business partner for many years. His name is Timur Mindich. And a few months ago, when he was on the verge of being arrested by Ukrainian anti-corruption authorities, he fled Ukraine to Israel and has pretty much disappeared ever since, although it is known that he's in the country. Personally, I think there's little chance that he is going to be extradited soon, if ever. And I imagine that Zelensky would be perfectly happy for him to remain in Israel because, after all, he may have a lot of dirty laundry to expose when it comes to his former business partner, Volodymyr Zelensky. Now, in any case, Zelensky's wish for Ukraine to become a big Israel appears to have come true in many respects.
Here we go.
And some of that is what we're going to be discussing today with Vanessa Beeley.
Okay. So, what are we getting to here? Let's look at this. Let's take a look at the thumbnail, and I'll go ahead and close. Let's see. What is it? That's not it. Reason to resist. Okay. Ukraine becomes a big Israel. Ukraine's deepening involvement. Okay. So go back and watch this. 51 minutes. Right. But really, all this says, right, is we're here. Right? We're here. Revelation 11 and 14, in any language. The second woe is past, behold, the third woe is coming shortly. All right? Let's go, Dimitri. Wow. Okay, yeah. Anyway, yeah, check this out. Reason to resist with Dimitri Lascaris. All right, with that, we pray that you like, gratified. Got to keep your eye on where the war is going and how quickly it's escalating, because it'll be here soon. And you should be on the battlefield with your boots laced up right now, knowing what is coming. With that, we pray that you like, gratified. Shalom.